Also, welcome into anybody who is just lurking. Just gonna be working on some fan art, stuff like that. Sorry, I usually, sometimes if like nobody's here, I sometimes just mute myself for a bit and just relax and chill. But, pardon my fan in the background. But if you guys do want to just say hi or ask questions or just chill, feel free to, all that jazz. So yeah. Hey Connor, welcome in, man. Sorry if my volume's a little bit low, but I mainly just have it low because of my fan. Let me turn my fan down real quick. There. Ow. Turning down my fan. And life is good, mainly just busy. Got one of the videos for the gaming channel done. I got it done today. Gonna try to work on some more videos tomorrow. Cause, it's been kind of hectic. I haven't really had the time to really work on anything too much. I'm hoping I could work on some art videos from my art-only channel at some point. That's one thing I've been meaning to do. I just haven't had the time for a bit. But yeah, no, I am doing all right. How are you doing, man? I know you've probably been busy. Also, the improved thumbnail for Batman Unchained is just like a prototype thing. I was just kind of like, if I was ever to redo those series of videos and stuff like that, I wanted to make sure that I can get, I wanted to have a good thumbnail to give an idea of stuff first, and also, I wanted to kind of figure out a good script that is somewhat not bad, but a little bit better. Taking what I originally had from the first video and reworking it and stuff like that. So hopefully, hold on. Yeah, no, that would be cool. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Am I just not paying attention? Is it just not popping up when I see, like, I'm not paying attention and I'm not seeing when messages pop up? Like, okay, there we go. Could be better. High school's yeah, I know. High school usually sucks. It's never been anything to really ride home about to be happy. No offense. But it is one of those things where I can say from experience that high school just sucks. So yeah. I know I have a lot of projects I need to finish up. This is just a relatively just freelance project. It's not even like one that I have to get done. I'm doing it mainly for fun because I wanted to do something new that I've never done before. And Heath Ledger's Joker is like one of those things where, he's very scary, very chaotic, very iconic, and I figured, well, you know what? I've never really drawn too many of the live action stuff for Batman or anything, so I figured, you know what? Let's break up my usual routine and try doing something I haven't done before. And that's really where this project came in. Also, because I started a new era because I moved to June, and my friends are at where I used to live, which is an hour from and where I am now. Yeah, I really like how the Heath Ledger's Jokers turn out so far. Thank you. Yeah, it's getting there. It's more of a slow process because I want to make sure I get all the, like, the details right, including like digital, or especially because it's done in digital, I should say. And for me, I figured, well, why not? I'm trying to kind of I'm not really treating this as much as like a 2D thing as I usually would. I'm kind of treating this more in the sense of a painting, like a painting where there is layers to it, and like I'm constantly going over and working within the layers and stuff like that. So I figured this should kind of like work in the same regard most of the time. It's just like more of a work in progress where I'm constantly going to have to refine as I go along, especially with the coloring. The inking and penciling, I believe, took me for a little while. And I always try to make sure that when I'm working on projects that I do have the time to do certain things. And you know, plus it gives me like ample room to like refine stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the Batman Unchained video turns out. I'm still trying to figure out the story I want to do because I wanted to make it a bit bigger than the Batman and Robin audio. Yeah, I had a similar thing, but I also figured like I wanted to still keep it in the realm of like some elements are taken from the original script, while other things are more refined and kind of like borrowing elements from other things and trying to like not really make a mashup, but like a other, like something else in its own right, you know. And that's where I kind of like, I haven't had time to really rework the script. I'm actually having a friend and me are gonna probably work on something like that together at some point, but at the moment that's gonna probably be a later project. One, because I also have the Resident Evil 3 remake rewrite that I need to work on, and stuff like that, and I figured that's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be just as big as something like Unchained would be, And I figured, well, if I'm doing that, I can't work on Unchained, so I figured I'll put a pin in that and work on the not really work on put a pin in like Unchained and work on the rewrite, because that's going to be just of big, or maybe even bigger. And then I also have to work on the story section for the Arkham DLC video. So there's that too. Yeah, I wanted to make it for what the original script was going to do, but and what Burton's... Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, it's very complicated and difficult, and like Rob and them had like a different vision that I personally disagreed with, pulling from like the animated series and stuff, which they talked about in the podcast style thing for Batman and Robin, that whole video. But I figured I didn't really like that approach. And I kind of wanted to do something a bit different. I don't know. It's more just, I don't really want to spoil anything for it, because I kind of want to make sure when I actually get the time that it would work. Because, oh yeah, I think I remember them saying that. Yeah. I know, like, right now I'm really want to focus on the rewrite, and I also have the Resident Evil 3, How Capcom Should Have Made It, Part 2, that I will say has been difficult to record. Like, I think I've went through 2 different recordings, and one of them I felt like dragged on in certain sections for too long, and I'm probably going to have to re-record everything from scratch again. and basically what I might do is like get the previous recordings and maybe make I think if I ever qualified, I know for this channel I do, but like for the gaming channel or stuff like that, I would make like a members only thing, and where you guys could have like this would be like a demo reel, like a me kind of turning all the like the audio attempts and recording session into like a demo reel of like just me trying to record a video in general. And I figured that would be something cool, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that would be like, I don't think I'm gonna watch that. Just hear you for 25 to 30 something minutes screwing up stuff and recording different takes. Yeah, no. So I don't know. Plus that part 2, I will say it's difficult because I have to go back and basically re-review what I said in the previous video, and then I also have to make sure. I feel like for me it's more of a competence thing of like, I don't want to I want to make sure I get it just right, especially because it's taken a year and a half to finally get a chance to record part 2. And I thought I could just remake part 1, but I realized no, because that's an older video on the channel, and unlike Devil May Cry 3, where I feel like it can be a lot more competent in remaking it, and it would make sense. That one, I feel like that one did have ideas to it, and it did have some stuff. I feel like that's the issue that I would run into, is that if I was to remake it, there would be a lot of me having to go back into that video and look at some of the ideas and stuff like that, and I also would have to look at other things. So it's more like part 2, I have to like, I don't want to repeat everything I said, because that part 1 was more about gameplay, but I feel like I'm gonna end up repeating myself anyways, so I don't really know. it's one of those things where I have ideas of what I want to do. It's just like I haven't outright wanting to, like, it's like I have to outright figure out the proper way of approaching it. 'Cause I was like looking at part 1, and there is ideas there that I feel like could work. For instance, like I think there's a couple there that I feel like could work. You like some stuff with the map, some stuff with the enemy types. There's things I talk about, and also some of my changes to Nemesis. The big issue that I was thinking about is that when I was doing part 1, I said the next part will probably talk about story stuff and whatever. The issue is that I have a rewrite planned, and I don't want to A, spoil the rewrite, and B, I wanted to make sure that if I do it, it works within this narrative of not spoiling what I have planned, but also making sure it, yeah, I see what you mean, because you obviously have got from the script and you have to start all that. Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm careful, because I know that part 1 focused a lot on gameplay. I don't know. I want to look at the... I actually am pulling up the video right now. Great to see the grievances with Resident Evil in the community so clearly. I did play the original long before it came out. Yeah. There's a lot of comments in that video. I might... yeah. I didn't play the original, but the remake yet, but... yeah. Yeah, there's, things I want to try to rework with, like, a part 2. I might actually just go in and think about, like, with part 2 and basically look at the original and say, kind of, like, joke about it, and, like, I might try to have to figure out a way of re-recording it in a way that makes sense, because I made the first video a year ago, and it was, like, part 1, and I already talked about some of the stuff that I was going to talk about in part 2. Now, after looking at some of it, and I'm like, I might have to, like, approach it in a different way of, like, saying, okay, you know, this, kind of joke about it, and then look at, like, say, I wanted to kind of, like, treat part 2 a little bit differently than I originally, because I went through several different recordings, and none of them ever felt strictly right, because a lot of what I said in the original video, I kind of stand by, and after looking at some of the comments and some of, you know, what everybody said, I figured blah, 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 blah. So I figured I could kind of do something like that. But the issue would probably be, like, would it matter? Because, like, I don't... Here's my issue. I don't want to, you know, I don't want people to, like, think I'm... I don't want to, like, redo everything. Were you planning on... Were you planning on having Poison Ivy in Part 2 because she was mentioned in Part 1? Poison Ivy would have been a bigger part in the later Part 2 and Part 3. The issue that I was having is working her origin along with having all three characters, Bane, Scarecrow, and all that, tie into a similar plot. And the thing is that I felt like I had too many villains in one basket, but I knew that it could be worked in, because the Fanscription did something similar with Batman and Robin, where you had Mr. Freeze as a villain, you had Catwoman still in the story, you had a bunch of these characters all in one plot. I knew that there was a way to work with all of that. The issue was that I was just struggling with writing it. Yes, she was going to turn into Poison Ivy throughout the at one point in the film and have like a Batman and Robin style thing. I wanted to like give her an origin and in the Tim Burton universe. The issue was that I kept running into roadblocks because I felt like there was too many villains. There was, I was not really competent with everything. So that's why I'm going to be reapproaching some of it, taking what I had originally, tweaking some stuff as well, and also reworking other things. I wanted to also give there a little bit of a time jump with Unchained that wasn't really cleared when I originally started the thing. I wanted to like tweak things and also hint at other stuff, but you know, trying to think, but yeah. Also, how long Batman Unchained was going to be taking place? I don't know. I knew that there was going to be a time jump, but I figured that out later that I wanted to include that a little bit because when I was looking at stuff, I was like, oh yeah, he would be probably Nightwing around this point a little bit, and he's kind of like already branching out and being his own, you know. Because that's what they established with the ending of Batman and Robin. But honestly, I don't have the time to go back and rework stuff and really tweak stuff right now. And when I do, then you'll get like some of these questions actually answered a little bit better. But at the moment, I can't give you a clear yes or no on everything. Now, if it's like a Resident Evil rewrite thing, then that's what I'll give you actual clear-cut stuff, because I do have to figure out soon what I'm going to do with the rewrite. My thing is, I have too many projects that have story-related stuff that I have not finished. So, the Arkham Shadows DLC video from my gaming channel, the Epic Mickey 3 video, again, the story section, haven't had time to work on it, and also the Resident Evil 3 remake rewrite. So, for me, I kind of figured that I could probably get all these done at when I did, but no, that has not happened. So I've been caught up with so much work. And even with the Resident Evil 3 remake rewrite, the script for that is not done, by the way. That's the key factor here. The script for that is not done. I didn't realize it until later on, but I forgot that we never did end up completely finishing it. So I'm not very good at writing. So I had somebody helping me throughout the entirety of that, who was helping me edit the script, helping me work with it and tweak it. And that's the thing, is that it was one of those things where I did have to have a lot of help on certain things. And when it comes to story stuff, when I'm not much of a writer, so if I'm working on something that has story stuff to it, I'm constantly making sure that it is at least good. So there is that. Also, I'm trying to add the Joker paint to his face, which this is going to look odd, but I'm going to try to make sure that it works. I might try to clean it up or smooth areas of it. Yeah, that doesn't work at all. Dang it. I wanted to do his skin tone first, because I know that with the war paint, he does kind of yeah, ha 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 ha. So funny. Never heard that one before. Now, I'm not trying to make... I know that it is white, and that's going to basically screw up the skin tone. So I'm trying to, make sure that how I approach the makeup, or the... what's it called? I can go in later on. Okay. And I can either A, white out, or B, kind of dampen certain things. So certain things like his nose a little bit, or certain areas. I wanted to, well. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Hush it. Look who we have here. Yeah, hush it. I streamed yesterday at one point, I think, so hush up. It's been a minute. Yeah, well. I mainly have been streaming sometimes on my gaming channel. A long minute. Yeah, I know it has. Welcome in, good sir. How are you doing, good sir? Welcome. What have you been up to? Waiting for Ghosts of Yote? Or as other people would say it on Twitter, waiting for trash. I can't believe people. Already being douchebags about the game. Yeah. Hush up. I saw a little bit of it, but I've kind of just kind of just been doing my own thing. Ow. What, so that's all you've been doing? Waiting for that game? I'm probably gonna head out. I might come back in a bit. Alright. What's that slapping? What's slapping? My pen? Clicking the screen when I'm working on, erasing, but that's about it. I thought it was something else. Shut up. Shut up. Get your mind out of the gutter. What's wrong with you? Always thinking something bad. What's wrong with you? Trying to think of the right ways of approaching this. Just saw your Wednesday video where things get his revenge. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty fun to release. Yeah, because honestly, the show it's a W. Yeah. A lot of the Wednesday shorts, some of them haven't gotten a lot of views, some of them do. It just depends on the short algorithm for YouTube lately, but honestly, it's been really kind of fun to rewatch that, to watch Wednesday, because I know that they're going to do season 3. That's kind of obvious because of what they said with Tim Burton saying, oh yeah, it's officially confirmed, it's been renewed and stuff, so I might... Yeah, it does. I'm hoping to probably release a couple more shorts from the show. It takes me forever to find stuff. I don't want to put out edits because, one, I don't know, I'm very picky when it comes to music. I'm very picky when it comes to, like, stuff, so I'm like, if I'm going to do edits, I can't do that as a video because of copyright, and even as a short, it's, have you watched all of season 2? Yes and no. I probably, because of issues with, like, the way I was watching it, was having some issues, and there's, like, certain bits that probably I did not get a chance to see when it comes to, like, certain scenes. Question mark? Basically, because of, like, issues with how I was watching it, there's probably bits and, like, scenes that I did not actually see. Like, there was a couple episodes where, I know that, Tyler is with, you know, certain, like, he fights werewolf, you know, what's her name, and basically stuff like that. I didn't actually, like, I know that there's these scenes, but I didn't actually get a chance to watch them. And stuff like that because of issues. So yeah, when I mean, like, have I watched the full season? Technically yes, and technically no. Yeah, her name's Eden. Well, yeah, but she Wednesday was in her body, so yeah, I know her name. I just right now I'm just like scatterbrained trying to you know, recall it in the moment. I will say I'm kind of 50-50 on this season compared to the first one. I don't know. I like elements of it, and then there's sometimes, like, I'm looking at other stuff, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. But bro, ain't no way Tyler's gonna kill his mom, though. Yeah, true. Yeah, that was kind of obvious. Well, 50-50. Tyler, I don't know. I don't know. There is some stuff in this season that I'm, like, after a second, like, watch, it's a little weird. Especially, like, the dynamic between Isaac and his sister. I was thinking, like, did Tim Burton really just pull an Andy and Lele? You gotta be kidding me. Did he just do... You probably don't know what that is. Don't look into it for reference, but it's a good thing you don't. But basically, there's a reason why I said that as the crucial reference here. Because a lot of fans kind of picked up on something with the siblings. Bro, I have drawing of Tyler in the hide form. Oh. Well, you can always post it in the community tab. Because I do have the community tab. I don't promote it enough, at least with the main channel or my gaming channel. But it is open, so, like, anybody can technically post, and, like, other people can see it and like it and whatever. Or you can post it in the fan art tab on my Discord. And I do know kind of what you said. Yeah. Kinda. Well, it's at least you don't know the full extent of the reference. But yes, kinda is, I guess, a good thing. But yeah, you can post it there. I'll probably try to check it. It's on paper. That's fine. You can always like take a picture of it. There's nothing wrong with that. um, People do. I have people even in the in the server, even though it's super quiet and because nobody's on Discord 24/7. Um, People do post stuff over there. Um, Bro, ain't no way I kinda. Uh, Bro, ain't no way I kinda know what you said that, and I'm 10. Well, eh. Well, with age, you'll get fine. With age, it's a good thing you're young. I wish I could be younger, but being young sometimes is good, but sometimes is bad. It just depends on how you look at it as you get older. Treasure every moment. And bro, the drilling looks fine. Thank you. Yeah, it's getting there. I try to do a little bit of these fan art streams once in a while. I'm still trying to figure this out because like he has like that type of paint, like the war paint, and it has this unique blend on his face, and I was trying to figure out. I don't want it to be like, you know, too. Eh. Oh, yeah. It's getting there. I probably need to. I think. Hold on, maybe. Because he has like that war paint look. I'm trying to. Because they paint his face in the Dark Knight films compared to like the classic comics where it's like his skin is bleached white. So I'm trying to figure out a way to. And what are you drawing on? Tablet. I am drawing on a tablet, like a standard tablet, kind of like a Samsung one. Like tech, yes, pretty much just a standard. You know, like I'm just drawing on a tech basic tablet type of deal. But yeah, there's other ways of doing digital art. Oh, and I'm also on the tablet. Yeah, the thing is, like, you would have to like get an art program downloaded through the art app store, which is what I do. Some of them do cost. Some of them are a bit finicky, and because they have ads on them and stuff, and I'm like, I'm very picky on what I choose. So that's why I just use the standard. What is it called? Autodesk Sketchbook. I'm wanting to migrate to Procreate, but that is only on Apple tablets. Yeah, I paid $5 for mine. For tablet or the art program. An art program. Well, it just depends on the program if it's good or not. I always go for the free stuff. I would say if it's Procreate, then I guess it's worth it because I know that Procreate at one point was at $5, but now it's been marked up and stuff. I don't know. But what is great? This or the art program? No, I'm on Samsung. Oh, okay. Well, same here. Um, the program. Well, depends on what program you're using. What it could be very good. Um, they always are, mostly. Uh, if you want to share the stream, go right ahead. That's really up to you. If you want to like the stream, same here, or subscribe. I never really push the subscribing stuff, mainly because I've never really been that way. The same for when it comes to the other socials and stuff. Because the content over here is kind of like very sporadic. It doesn't really have a specific wing to it. That's why I mainly live stream half the time. So yeah. It is getting somewhat better, but it's let's see. Ah, god darn it. I've drawn on a beach. I've drawn a beach and a sunset once, but it took 2 hours. Well, art takes time, especially, it really just depends. If you're really trying to get detail and you're really trying to do stuff, there's projects that have taken me about 5 to 10 months or even a year. It's never meant to be easy. It's always going to be difficult depending on the project. Like, that's the thing about art, is that you can always, like, take a break and come back to it and forget, almost when you forget what it looks like. And you might be able to, like, reapproach certain things that you feel like could be done better. But but it is also the fun of it. I feel like, for me, I like making it. Doesn't matter that it takes so long, because it's really just the fun of doing it that comes in later. Because you can certainly mess around. And what app is that? The one I'm using right now? That I'm using to draw? It's free, and it is called Autodesk Sketchbook. The only paid part of it is more the premium stuff. Okay. Yeah, it is a free little art program. Simple, easy to use. It's a little bit different on every platform. So if you're using it on phone, some of the features and some of the some things are a little bit difficult. Okay, Autodesk Sketchbook. Yes, Autodesk Sketchbook. It is a brown. It's like if you're looking for it in the App Store, it'll have like an orange icon with like a pencil. Some of the versions of it will have similar features. So, pins, stuff like that, layer system, but only the tablet version and the phone version do have the record feature. So the screen record, That feature is on only these type of devices, which has been kind of an interesting thing to... Yeah, bro, my art teacher literally had me teaching the class once. Well, you know, sometimes you can really learn from, like, people can learn from different layers of experience. Even the older artists have something new to learn from the younger ones. Especially from different techniques, different ways of doing stuff. I'm always learning myself, and I'm older. I'm not going to say my exact age. Because then I'm going to look odd. But, because I probably sound younger than my actual age. That's actually the funny part. But in general, it's one of those things where you certainly can learn a bunch of stuff. Like, even I'm learning newer techniques, different ways of approaching things with this app. And I'm constantly, you know, picking up new tricks. You know, like, I find different ways of, like, approaching stuff, like using the layering system. Yeah, she also had me draw and Sharpie on a board, and yeah, that's always giving the student time to learn. I never really got to do too much. Like, I had an art class when I was younger. I got to do some stuff. And it was fun back then. I think we even made our own pots at one point, I remember. But most of the stuff that I've learned now I've had to self-teach myself. So self-teaching myself certain techniques, certain art stuff. Well, okay. You're a little bit above the age I am. One notch lower, but yes, I am in my 20s. Not bad, kid. But yes, not 23 yet. Not until another April. But pretty darn close. Okay, nah, bro. Nah, nothing. But you're not wrong. You're not far off. You're pretty accurate. You 22? Yes, 22. Young, but not too young. Still pretty older. Okay. Yeah. You're pretty accurate. How you guessed... Be right back. Have a good one. Okay, so... Not bad, kid. Okay, so... Let's see. Trying to think... The one thing with the face paint is that Joker's face paint has this more splattery look, and then when you have an eyelid, it does have this fold. So you have the fold of it. Well, that was quick. Well, welcome back. Welcome. I might work on some of the other fan art stuff later. I'm 50-50, because I know that I'm going to be working on this for a bit. But I'm kind of trying to make sure that I get it at least accurate when it comes to the details and stuff. I know that I'm going to probably have to try to record later. Because I do have, like, the 3 channels that I need to run. Oh, I gotta go. Well, alright. Well, have a good one. I hope to see you at, in another stream. And keep an eye out on the shorts. I might try to upload some more Wednesday stuff. I might try to upload some different videos, whether it's game stuff or other stuff. But, you know, keep an eye out. I try to upload somewhat consistently when it comes to stuff. You too. Have a good night. I will. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Alright. Let's see. Do you... one last thing. Do you play Fortnite? I do not, but I do have a younger brother who does. He's very much into those style of games. Hey, Lynn. Welcome in, hon. Hopefully you're doing well. But to answer your question, I don't, but I do have a younger brother who does play those styles of games and stuff like that. So, hey, it's nothing against those games. I never really got into them myself, but I know a lot of people that do play them. So, like, I do have a brother that plays them, and he's kind of younger-ish. So it's more his, that's more his niche. But I do have other games I play. There is Minecraft, that is one of them. I don't know. Mario Kart's one that I would play if I had access to it, and other stuff. So, but yeah. It's not, I don't know. But also, hey Lynn, welcome in. So yeah. Hopefully you're doing well. Right now I'm just working on the face paint for Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm trying to make sure that I get this as accurate as I can, because I know that some stuff I will say when it comes to video games, I don't play too many multiplayer ones. Yeah, just sleepy. Yeah, I figured. I hope you get some rest. I know that where you are, it's looking good already. Thank you. Yeah, it's getting there. The penciling and inking process for it, I'm really hoping this doesn't crash. Bye, sadly. Bye, have a good one. It was kind of complicated. I will say for video games, for me though, I think I'm just more of a single player. I do play some multiplayer style stuff like the Lego games, but it's more couch co-op related. And I mainly just play like the Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Arkham, Marvel Spider-Man, stuff like that. I'm very much someone that keeps to myself. I just can't leave. Yeah. But if you have to go, you gotta go. Because I know you said, you know. And plus, I'm pretty sure, what is today? Is it like Saturday, Friday? You know. I don't know. Video game wise, I do want to play some retro style stuff soon. I did put out a vote on the channel, actually, Lynn, so this is going to be interesting for you because I don't know. Because recently I was checking my PlayStation, or more specifically my PlayStation 5. It is a Tuesday for you. Oh, so it's a Tuesday. I don't know if school's already started, or it's about to start, or it's going to. But yeah, I don't have school anymore, but I know that people do. But I was checking the PS5, and recently they did bring back Resident Evil 2 Classic and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis to PlayStation Plus. But also you can buy the games again, or basically buy them. Alright. I have to go 7 every day, and on weekends I have to... Yeah, that sucks. But, you know, school is important. It is. I know you hear that a lot, but as someone who already has done school, I wish I would have done better. Can I have mod? Well, if... Okay, here's my thing. Here's when it comes to being a mod, I have 3 rules. 1, you have to be a consistent viewer. And not only that, but I have to know you well and trust you. The second is that, you know, you have to be responsible with it, to not abuse it. And third, you know, it's a trust thing. You are relatively new, and you're relatively young. So at the moment right now, maybe in the future, yes. But at the moment right now, no. But that's not to say that I won't give it to you at one point if, like, I trust you and stuff like that. But I'm not saying you'll never get a mod, but I appreciate you asking. If, like, in the future, you know, if, like, I feel comfortable with you and you've been around for a while, enough to where I know your character and stuff like that, then yes, you could get it. What age? Well, I don't think age is the thing. Well, you are young. So, like, didn't you say you were, like, 10? So it's more of just this thing of, like, maturity. Well, like 11. Well, it's not... It's more of a maturity thing. It's like, you can be young, but it's still a thing of, like, you have to be, you know, somewhat mature, and... I don't know. It's hard to explain. Lynn, help me out here. Explain it in a way that makes sense better. I'm not good. Oh, so you kind of like trust? Pretty much, yeah. It's more of a trust thing. Lynn has been around since I started the channel, and also she's a very good friend and someone I care about very deeply. Yeah, chats are not kids always in my option. Well, chats are not for kids anyway. Well, not always. It just depends on the chats. Like, it depends on the stream, but I can agree sometimes. But not to say that none of people that are young... Okay, I see. Well, here's my thing. To give you an honest answer, in the future... you could become a mod in the future, but at the moment right now, no. Okay, there we go. But I disagree on that part, Lynn. I disagree a little bit. It just depends on the chats, because there are some people, the more adult-centered content, like people that cuss a lot and act like buffoons, then yes. But the ones that are more neutral streams... Okay. Well, see ya. Have a good one. See you next time. Hopefully you stop in again soon. Alright. So, yeah. I'm hoping I get this right. I'm gonna try to... I'm hoping I can mess around with it. That's not bad. I just need to add a little bit of a... I sleep well, wake up well, indeed. Speaking of sleeping well... what is your plans for soon, Lynn. Because I don't know the, like, full-on all the stuff that goes on. Can you stream next Tuesday? Just depends. I might stream next Tuesday. I might not. It depends on my schedule, and it depends on, like, time. Or on Monday. Again, it really just depends on schedule and time for me. Just to answer your question. I might stream, I might not. It just depends on what specifically I'm up to on that specific day, if I'm recording, or if I'm working on a project, or just in general stuff. And yeah, I get that. It just depends. I don't really have much of a streaming schedule. I wish I did. I slept till 11 p.m. till a day ago, and I was sleeping good all night, but I go to Romania chats until 2, and so it disturbs my sleep again. Yeah. Well, you, like Romania is like a different time zone than, like, the U.S. and stuff, so it's like, you probably staying up pretty late. So I can get that. Shoot. I'm hoping to, like, have more of a consistent streaming schedule. I try to stream over on my Twitch off and on. But the thing for me is that I kind of just do stuff when I can. Yeah, that show's a long, like, 6 hours. It's like talk with politics, and I love to chat with people there. Yeah, and that's always good. I'm glad to see you're having fun, chatting with people, getting along, doing stuff. Me personally, I'm still trying to have more of a... I try to chat with some people occasionally online when I can, but I'm always forgetful, and I never really... I'm constantly working on stuff, so it's like I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly busy, and I don't like it. I have, like, the rewrite of Resident Evil 3 remake that I have to work on stuff for. And also I'm, like, constantly working on video projects. And I need to start doing more art video projects, which that is a pain. I plan on doing more art video stuff on my art channel. I am constantly... I'm constantly forgetting to do stuff. Like, I'll say I'm gonna do it, and then I end up forgetting. And it's just every time. So yeah, I'm hoping I can get more of a consistent schedule when I'm working on stuff. But yeah, I'm happy to hear you're having fun and enjoying yourself and doing stuff. Especially because, like, I know it's been chaotic, and not just with politics, but just in general lately. It's just been one crazy screwed up thing after another. Not just down here, but I'm guessing it's just that way all around the world at this point, because that's the way it feels. You know, you're constantly You constantly see it half the time. It's just like, eh. Yeah, very true. We had like a case with an American guy killed. Yep. Freaking death everywhere. Always death. Nothing but death. God damn it. Non-stop death. Just never ending. I know you were still streaming. I was gonna join back. You know that guy, the one with... Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm aware of him. I'm not gonna say his name, because politics-wise, but yes, I'm aware. What about it? Or more specifically, what about him? And yeah, I know about some of that whole thing. I'm just kind of like, eh. I stay out of politics mainly because, well, the news of these days, because bad stuff. I don't think that's what it was, but I personally feel like the guy, I don't want to say too much, but I will say that he's said a lot of questionable, questionable things in the past, and I feel like it was like a mixture of a lot of stuff, and I don't agree with what happened. No one should die. But I also think that you cannot say some of the stuff, like some very questionable stuff like the way he did, without something or somebody like not only not liking it, but also taking it a step further, for it will bite you in the ass one of these days. I don't think anyone should be killed, but I also think that you cannot say some things, very questionable things, without repercussions. I don't know. He should have been protected if they knew he was public eye like that. Yes, but he also would... the thing is that I also feel like he was kind of like pretty much a target anyways. Like, when you go around like that, there are people that are going to disagree with you, and there are people that are going to go that far, and it shouldn't happen, but they will. And when it's so easy to get, you know what, it's when you're basically asking for trouble. And in regards to protection, yes, but I also feel like he shouldn't need protection in the first place if it wasn't so easy to access you know what. It's so easy to buy them. There's nothing that could really, I don't know. It's one of those difficult subjects because I don't want to get into the politics side of it, but I will say that I don't agree with everything that the guy's. I don't agree with anything he said in the past. I also don't agree with the fact that he died. I don't think he shouldn't have died. No one should die. And yes, Americans should be restricted to be with those. Yes. Because if you notice that in other countries or stuff like that, there is not many death from, weapons. The least you'll get is like maybe a stabbing. But I will close the topic. Now you're good. It's not for us, I guess. It's not that. It's more like, here's my thing. I'm behind the scenes. I can be very political, and I have very opinionated topics. But my main thing is I always have to choose my words carefully, especially if I'm doing something live, because what I don't want what I don't want is somebody to like come in, and honestly I don't like talking about politics too much, because sometimes you can't win with certain people, because it's pretty much like they will argue. And like there was somebody, I think on Twitter, there was somebody I was talking to, and I basically tried to bring up like I tried to literally point out like there is a bit on both sides, it shouldn't happen and whatever, they're blah blah blah, and they were so far right that they would not, there was no like, it was honest, it was just like no, I won't have any of this BS, I will blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, at that point I knew there was going to be an argument, because I am not left, I am not right, I am somewhere in the middle. The thing is that nobody can be civil, and like everybody has an opinion on the way something should be, obviously. My problem is that both sides are snowflakes and they basically not only get pissed off and have to have it something their way, and they make it to where it's like it makes it a no-win side. There's no winning. So yeah, it's good to be pre-socius. I can't read that, but yeah, I'm very much kind of like right, yeah. I'm very much the type of person when it comes to politics that does not like to get involved when it comes to certain things, because I know that certain things they'll just cause a massive argument, and there are just trolls and people that they just want a way of just being dicks. They just want, like, especially it's the worst on Twitter. And when you see it so much, that's when you start to pick up some guidelines, especially for real life. Because I do not align with some things on one side of the aisle. I don't align with some things on the other side of the aisle. I don't align with everything that's going on in the world. Some things I can agree with. Some things I don't. I won't say what those things are. But I have my own personal opinions. The problem is that everybody has opinions on how some things they should be done. And the issue is that when everybody has those opinions, it wraps itself and this never-ending, like, this should be this way, this should be that way, this should be... It's like, it never ends. Well, because, like, the moment you start to object, or, like, you say, oh, well, these problems are caused by this, then this side gets defensive and says, no, you can't do that because that'll do this, and then blah, blah, blah. So, it ends up becoming this circling argument that never gets fixed. Especially when it comes to the pew-pews. So, that's another thing. I very much have this thing of just, like, looking at it from this wide lens, where, using my words carefully here, because I'm constantly... I try to look at the full picture to understand what one side is saying and what the other side is saying. But both sides have this, like, this problem of blaming the other, to where one side over here is saying, well, they're the problem, they're doing all this, even though some things that side is doing is kind of accurate, the other side is, no, it's they're doing this, this, this. So everybody's just blaming one another, and nothing is getting really done. And when you have that, it basically goes into the same... It goes in a circle, because, like, both sides want to blame each other, and nobody can really civilly talk about stuff, and debate anything. Like, if we're going to talk about, you know, issues and things, everybody has a specific thing that they feel like it should be done this way, it should be done that way, it should be that. The problem is that there are many ways of how to handle an issue. Like, if people want an issue to be fixed, it could have been fixed a long time ago if people would stop arguing and actually fix it. That is the problem. Everybody wants to rather just, you know, result into political theater rather than actually doing something. Like, we're too busy fussing and arguing. Let's get shit done. Let's actually work on helping people. Let's not... The problem, I kind of align a little bit with something George Carlton said in the past, where he said, you know, it's one giant club and you're not in it. That's really what it is that it's, like, especially with some things he said, even though, like, some of them you can consider, like, jokes and stuff, but it's also, like, he was accurate. In regards to certain topics. Not everything, but most of it. Because when you look at it from certain lenses and basically be like, okay, so, yeah, I feel like, it's one of those things where, when it comes to politics, I try not to, especially engage on Twitter, because you will never win with some of these people, and then they'll just start labeling you as, like, a liberal or this or that. It's like, that's the other thing. It's like the labels. If you don't agree with their point of view, you're this. You're this. Like, both sides do this. Both sides. If you don't completely agree with this view, and if you're saying this, then you're this. If you don't do this, you're this. Both sides are doing that. Which kind of gets into this standpoint and this idea of why the fuck does this, like, why?
this idea of name calling because we can't agree is the stupidest, most childish thing I've ever seen. Because, like, yeah, we kind of could pick at each other or, like, look at something that somebody says and laugh at maybe how we're looking at it and think it's stupid because, like, that's not accurate. But the thing is that it just depends. Like, because both sides get incredibly defensive when they're wrong. The left and the right do. And the thing is, you can't really win. Like, you can argue till you're blue in the damn face about certain topics, and both sides will find a way to make you look like the bad guy. And it's a big reason why it's like, it's just pointless to argue or talk about politics, because it's like, nobody really gives a damn. Okay, maybe a few, but nobody really gives a damn about, helping people nowadays. Like, it's really not about actually helping the people, having a place that helps the people, that's run by the people. Because politics used to be, from what it was set up to be, was about that. Now it's really people that get in never leave until they're, like, old, because they're making deals that really technically benefit them. Like, most of them get paid off, most of them start getting money and more money and more money and more money, and worry less about the people that are actually, that they're sworn in to help. And that's the issue. So, but that's my spill on it. I don't want to say too much because I am not going to sit there and say that I know everything when it comes to politics. I'm not going to say that I am smart at all. But I will say that, well, you know your stuff. I try to. I know some things. I learned some of it from my dad, but also just stuff by watching. Best of my ability. I'm also gotten a little bit better with digital. I'm right now just doing the basic layer for the hair. Like one that is that's simple, that I can go in and then add other little things later. Because so, yeah. Damn it. I know I was going to try to work on other projects like Galactus and stuff. I might just kind of change the title to where it's not part of that, but I don't know. I might still try to work on a little bit of them here in a minute. Like, I might try to just work on a little bit of ink lining. And do some of this later. So, let me save this. And hopefully it doesn't crash the screen, because every time I try to save a drawing because of space, it ends up crashing. Okay, good. Gallery, I'll probably work on a little bit of inking, at least for Galactus here. Just slight inking. I don't want to do too much because obviously it's one of those things where I want to make sure that it's You draw on tablet? Yeah, just a basic tablet, but yes, I draw on my tablet. I have the professional one, but I have to have a computer to use it, and I am out of one. I don't have one, because both don't work. Boo. Boo indeed. Boo indeed. Indeed. Boo. Boo, you fucking suck! But welcome, Grievous, welcome. Let's see. Probably just do a little bit of inking here. I don't know. I might... No. Because the issue is that inking this, I need to have a reference. Boo, like a ghost. I don't think the other... Yeah, I know. I was joking. A little bit of sarcasm. But I know what he was meaning. Let's see. I think Fury's all the way down here. I did a little bit of work for her, but I'm kind of eh. I might try to ink a little bit more on the comic, since I have some time. Might as well. I try to do a little bit of inking for this, at least on Twitch, but because I have some time tonight, I figured I can work on this a little bit. Now, obviously, I will probably refine elements of this, inking-wise, later. I don't know if that's too big. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Because the glass shards, obviously glass has more of a white edge, and I'm doing this with black, which sometimes can work, but most of the time it doesn't, so I will have to maybe refine later. Again, I've never drawn a comic, so this is all a refined, better version of what I've done previously with that first attempt. So this is all me learning from that. I think this is a little too thicker. This is too thick. Shoot. When do you think you could start working on my art request? Again, like I said, I'm very busy. Like, I have multiple different projects. I can't give a dedicated date, but I will say that it will happen. It will probably be like, I might start at some point. I can't really just give you a dedicated date because of, like, I do have a bunch of things, especially video projects that I need to edit, I need to record, I need to do, which a lot of work goes into those for the other two channels. And hell, it took me like a consecutive, like, it took me half the day just to finish editing on the newest video that I'm not even going to be releasing right now for the Lego Batman stuff. So when it comes to like a dedicated time frame, I cannot give that to you. I'm sorry, but I can't. I will say that it will happen. You will get it. Don't worry. I'm not gonna be, because it's a good thing I'm doing this for free, because it's not like, you know, especially with how long it takes me to get anything done. So time-wise, I cannot give you a dedicated date, but I can say that it'll get done. You're going to make it blue with some white lines as light, like some shine. It'll have a little bit of blue, but because the holocron was green, the glass will probably have some green tint to it. But yes, it'll have a little bit of that. So yeah, you're not wrong there. Green works too. Yeah. That's the thing with requests for me, and that's my biggest issue. That's why I don't take a whole lot of them. Because it does take me... There's like requests that I still haven't gotten done. Because of just time. Because drawing for me, I believe, like, it can take a very long time. Hell, the fan art that I was working on for a friend was supposed to be done around Easter. I didn't get it done till past Easter, like months later, like 3 or 4 months later. So, like, for me, it's more of it's a mixture of schedule, it's a mixture of just time, getting the references, drawing it, being consistent, editing, stuff like that. So, if you're patient, I will try to give you updates whenever I can, but I cannot, in good conscience, give you a date for something that even I know that I am terrible about getting stuff done when I say I'm going to get it done. So as long as you're patient with me, I'll try to give you if whatever updates I can give you. All I ask is patience. Hopefully you understand. Like, I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I'm a straight shooter. I always want to make sure I just say, especially when it comes to like projects, you know, especially how I am. So, yeah. Because I don't want to waste anyone's time, but I also want them to know and respect mine as well. Because I obviously want to do stuff. I just, you know. So, some of this I don't. God damn it. Shoot. I might work a little bit more on this later. How long have I been streaming though? 1 hour and 48 minutes. And hopefully Grievous isn't too pissed. I wanted to be a little bit I don't know what's the word, forward, whatever. It's basically, not BSing, basically. So yeah, I wanted to, give a good, I wanted to, yeah, I already know. I might have to go through and re-ink certain things. Like I'm just doing a basic inked outline for some of the stuff to give an idea. Because some of this I'll have to go through and re-ink it anyways. But I wanted to do a basic thing. So yeah. What time is it? It is 8:14. It's almost closing in on 2 hours. I think I am going to get off here. And I will probably try to stream again sometime soon. I might work on this comic. I might work on something else. I don't know. Just depends on time. So yeah. I hope you have a good night or whatever it is for you down there in Romania, Lynn. I'm gonna try to probably get some rest. Stretch my legs. And all that jazz. Take good care of yourself. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. Get some rest then. Yeah, I will. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Yes. Yes.